So, do you still write songs? Have you written any other catches at all?
I've written one or two other rounds and catches. I wrote a couple for the choir called the Joyful Company of Singers. I wrote one about based on a speech from The Tempest about the Isle being full of noises, and which, by breaking up the words and by fairly tortuous lines, makes some quite interesting noises. I wrote one for Christmas about 10 years ago, which was which is about jingle bells. It actually has the lines jump up and down, but the highest note at any moment makes the tune of Jingle Bells, but you don't hear it until you sing the whole thing. It gradually assembles as a tune. And I'm actually working on another one at the moment, which goes a semitone sharp each line. So each voice that comes in has to come in a semitone higher. I quite like gags, you see.
Sounds a musical nightmare.
It's actually surprisingly easy because, the melody modulates, gets to a new, ends in a new key, a semitone higher. So the next voice comes in, the semitone higher has become the new normal, as we say.
Well, Mr. North, find that. We'll do it next Christmas.
In the Jingle Bells one sounds really interesting. I like the sound of that a lot.
I'll dig that out for you.
Can I ask you a question? Is it all right, Jamie?
By all means, yeah.
So, can I ask you, do you like crosswords and things like that? Because it sounds that you look at music in quite a specific way, which is quite interesting.
Yes, I do like crosswords. And I like word play generally. I find it stimulating. I find it. I love to very slightly misuse words in order to create an impact.
I do it all the time.
Yes, well, I do it more than I should. I probably do it when I'm preaching as well. But yes, I think that the sort of, I love double entendre. I love the idea that a word might mean different things in different places, those kind of things. So yes, I do like that. But I think, you asked me whether I write very much, and I don't write very much, particularly these days. I'm thinking that perhaps when I retire, I might write a bit more. But really, the circumstances I described of having my back to the wall and having to write something by 5 o'clock really appeals to me. If I thought, I think I'll write a piece, I would sort of think about it the next day and the day after, and I never get round to writing it. I kind of write to order, really. So I like challenges. I like being asked to do something. I like setting if you like, a structural or challenge, and I think that is that's what makes me write stuff.
So you wrote Liverpool Street Station for the Radio 4, you said?
Yeah.
And
it was called Pick Along a Dilly Go.
So how did you come to work for the BBC and what did you get up to?
Okay. I read music at university, and for quite a long time, what I did was music. I was a director of music in a school. I taught in a couple of schools, one of them quite well known. And then I went into music full time, doing some conducting and a lot of choir work. I worked with an opera company, and then I moved into sort of music policy, and I ended up working for the Arts Council. And then from that, I ended up launching my own company, a consultancy working in music and the arts and heritage, which I did for 20 years. I was ordained some of that time, but only as a kind of part-time priest. So I've only actually been a full-time priest for about just over 6 years. It's, so so music was what I did. A lot of church music. I was an organist, all those kind of things. But I mean, you do a lot of singing yourself. So you're doing some recordings, some recording your lines at home, and by the miracles of technology, welding it together.
Yeah, we're trying to keep going.
The miracles of Mr. North, I think, is the way to put it. Yeah, we've been doing, I think from last lockdown, we sent out a few hits into the mainstream YouTube, and we're trying to keep that going. So Liverpool Street Station is our current project.
There has been some fantastic stuff put out by musicians, home recordings and so on. We were listening to a recorder player doing a Brandenburg concerto arrangement the other day. Just sensational playing, absolutely wonderful. And there's a fantastic recording going around at the moment of the King's Singers doing music for a while. If you get a chance to listen to that, it's a Polish countertenor with the King's Singers doing the most gorgeous version of Music for a While, all recorded as on Zoom, as it were.
Very good. Is there anything else you want to ask, boys?
I think. Oh, it wasn't planned, but we've heard there's a German version of Liverpool Street Station. Can you tell us a bit about that? Why you decided to write that? And
I was taking a choir that I conducted to Germany, and there was a German woman in the choir, and we had a long coach journey, and we were planning to do Liverpool Street Station as an encore. And so we spent the bus journey producing a German version, which ends up with Düsseldorf Hauptbahnhof, Düsseldorf Station. So that's why that one exists. It's not been done as much. I must actually put it about a bit more. It's quite fun. Perhaps I need to do different ones in different languages.
Might be quite an odd question, but it always intrigues me, is what comes first? Do you write the melody, or do you write the lyrics, especially with a piece like Liverpool Street Station, which is so poetic?
Well, it's I think the poetry is luck rather than intention. To be honest, for that kind of piece, you start by putting the bar lines in, and then you put the words you want where you want them, and then you put some notes with them, and then you look at what you've got and you join in the gaps so that it all works. When you write it on a 4-line stave, so that you can actually see what the harmony will be as each line unfolds. But I think that's probably what most people do. Even you presumably sung lots of Bird and Tallis and things. Have you ever sung the big Tallis 40-part motet? Spem in alium.
Not 40 parts, unlikely.
But those composers apparently didn't use score. They actually wrote each line independently, and they had so much of the music in their head that they knew when they wrote the second part that it would fit with the first part. It's much easier these days just to do it in short score.
I think you might have given us an idea for a competition for the boys there. That'd be not the Speminalium, but actually to write a catch would be really, really a cool thing to do, wouldn't it?
It's not that hard once you've worked out the kind of the geography of it.
Yeah.
I had been thinking about whether I should rewrite the words, because Mogadon has not been available on prescriptions for about 20 years now. It was a sleeping pill, and it got rather a bad reputation because it was quite addictive. So I was wondering if I should change it to something something more modern, like trimazepam, or or whether to go herbal and have Nitol or something.
Hey, well, thank you very much, Reverend Crossland, for sharing your secrets behind Liverpool Street Station and behind the music and your past in general. It's been very interesting.
Thank you for asking me. I'm pleased that you enjoy the piece, and I wish you well with your singing in lockdown and for when you emerge to sing in fresh air.
Thank you.
The girl that I love has given me the shove. She says I am too low for her station. The girl that I love has given me the shove. She says I am to take up her pool's station. The girl that I love has started taking mortgage. She's lost her sickness doctor. Take up Poultry Station. The girl that I love has started taking mortgage. She's lost her sickness doctor. Take up Liverpool Street Station. The girl that I love has started taking mortgage. She's lost her sickness doctor. Take up Liverpool Street Station. The girl that I love has started taking mortgage. She's lost her sickness doctor. Take up Liverpool Street Station. The girl that I love has started taking mortgage. She's lost her sickness doctor. Take up Liverpool Street Station.